Hi, everyone. This is Anna, one of your consumer technology specialists at Mid-Continent Public Library. Today, we are going to take a look at the video conferencing software Zoom. So we are going to be looking at Zoom on a web browser today. The company does recommend that you download their app in order to get the most out of using Zoom, and they do have apps for computers and mobile devices. But you can use Zoom in a web browser as well. And that may be how you're accessing it if you're on a shared computer, perhaps at the library, or if you are invited to a meeting but you don't have your own account. You may choose to access Zoom this way. You do not need a Zoom account to attend a meeting. You would just need the meeting ID and password. The password just adds an extra level of privacy and security to the meeting. And you do want to make sure that whoever has scheduled the meeting has given you that information to ensure that you can access it at the scheduled time. If you do want to schedule a meeting yourself or present during a meeting, you will need an account for that. So keep that in mind. To create an account or to log in using the web browser, you will navigate to zoom.us. Once you're logged in, you will see a page showing your profile information. And this is where you can review and change specific settings for your account. You can also, from this page, see what type of account you're using and any restrictions that might be active based on the type of plan that you have chosen. So we are just using a basic free account. So because of that, we can have meetings with up to 100 attendees. So that's still a lot of people. And then the meetings themselves can be 40 minutes or less in length. And these restrictions only apply if I'm scheduling the meeting. So if I schedule, the meeting can't be longer than 40 minutes or have more than 100 people attend. But if I'm invited to a meeting, any restrictions would be based on the account type of the person who scheduled the meeting. So their account, it follows those restrictions. So from this profile page, I can do pretty much everything I might need or want to do. There is a menu in the top right corner of this page that gives me options to schedule, join, or host a meeting. So let's schedule a virtual meeting for a future date. I'm going to go ahead and click schedule from that menu, and then I'm taken to a scheduling page. This is almost like a form, so I'm just going to fill in each area with the details for the meeting. And since I do have a free plan, it's reminding me of the time limit for the meeting because the default meeting duration is 1 hour, but free accounts can only hold 40-minute meetings. So to change this, I can use the drop down and I'll have to choose a shorter time period. So I'm gonna pick 30 minutes since that's the longest time within my restrictions. The meeting could go over the 30 minutes, but that would be how it would display on a calendar or what it would show in an invite. And this just leaves a little bit of wiggle room in case the meeting goes over time. I can also choose the time zone from this page and whether I want it to be a recurring meeting. And then adding attendees here allows those individuals to access what they call a continuous meeting chat if it's toggled on. And this continuous meeting chat means that it's a chat associated with the meeting that will be available to attendees even when the meeting itself is not happening. So before and possibly after. If I don't want to use the continuous meeting chat, I can actually skip putting attendee information in here because I'm going to have to send out a separate email to invite people anyway once the meeting is scheduled. So Zoom does not send out the invitations automatically, which you would think they would if you put the attendees in here, but for some reason they don't do it that way. And then there are a few other options that I can choose for the meeting. It does look like the passcode is required for this type of account. There is a checkbox here, but it's grayed out, so I can't actually click to uncheck it. I can also turn on a waiting room, and this means that when attendees enter the meeting, they will not be able to enter the actual meeting room until the host or the meeting scheduler admits them into that room. This could be a good option for a meeting that is going to be a presentation or a class because it allows the host to arrive and get their device and their setup all ready before any attendees can enter the room. On the flip side, if you have 100 attendees and you have to admit each one into the room, that could take a lot of time that you could be using to do something else. Also, if the meeting is going to be mostly discussion or if it's just an informal chat, like a video call, you probably don't need to turn the waiting room on in that case. And below there are a few more options. And then if I click show next to the word options, I can even see a few more. But once I have set everything the way I want, I can click the blue save button at the bottom of my screen to finish scheduling. And I know I'm successful because I'm taken to a meeting details page. And here I can review the date and time to make sure that I put it in correctly. And then I will want to use this button to copy invitation that's at the bottom, because this is the information that I'm going to want to give to the attendees. I can send it by email or however I prefer to send those invites out. And from this page, I can also edit the details of the meeting. So if I look and realize I put the wrong time or the wrong day, I can edit the meeting here, and I can also delete the meeting. If I want to get back to this page at another time from my profile or some other page on the account, I'm just going to want to click Meetings from the menu that's on the left side of my screen. You can see that it's highlighted right now. If I want to join a meeting that someone else has scheduled, I'm going to click Join from that menu in the upper right corner of my screen. And here I'm either going to need to enter a meeting ID, which is on the meeting details page if you have scheduled it, and you would need to be given that ID if someone else has scheduled the meeting. I can also use a personal link name to join. You can find this on your profile page. It's going to be probably a number, and then you can give this number to others, and you can both just use that number to join if you want to have a quick conversation. It works without having you schedule an entire meeting. It would be the same room that you just enter whenever you use that number. If you've been given a link and a meeting ID through email, you can actually use the link through there and go directly to the meeting rather than having to log into your profile and then join this way. So there are a few different ways you can access a scheduled meeting. Since I'm using the browser version of Zoom, when I join, it is going to give me options to download the Zoom app, but I know I want to use it in the browser, so I'm going to click cancel in the pop-up box, and then I'm going to click the launch meeting button. And here it is going to ask me again to use the app, but now if I look just below where the launch meeting button is, I have gotten another option. Below download now, it says having issues with Zoom client, join from your browser. So this is what I want to click. I'll have to click cancel in that pop-up again to be able to get to it, and then I can click join from your browser. And now that we're in our meeting window, the image in the center of the screen is the profile picture on my account. Since my camera is turned off, Zoom is showing the picture by default. And it is asking me to use the computer audio so that would be the mic that it picks up and the audio that feeds so I can hear the other people in the meeting. So I'll just click join audio by computer. And I can tell that the camera is turned off by looking in my lower left-hand corner. Zoom has positioned their menu bar at the bottom of the screen, and then on the very left side, I have options to mute and unmute my mic, and then start and stop my video. In the middle of the menu bar, I do have more options. When I click on the security icon, I do get options to enable the waiting room and hide profile pictures. I can also manage what participants are able to do during the meeting right from here. So if any of these options need to be changed, the host can change them even after the meeting starts by going to this securities settings. If you're just an attendee at the meeting and you didn't schedule it, you may not see the security icon at all in your menu. The next icon is participants. And when I click on this icon, I can see a list view of meeting attendees. Right now, I'm the only one in the meeting, so I'm the only participant showing. I'm also listed as the host. So you do get different permissions depending on whether you're a host or a participant. And some of those permissions are the things that we just saw in the security tab. After participants, we do have an option to share our screen. And this is an icon that's highlighted green, so they really want to make sure that it stands out for us. Presenters can share an internet browser tab, a specific window that is open on their device, or they can share their entire screen. So if I had a PowerPoint presentation, I could choose to share it, and then participants would only see that PowerPoint window and nothing else that I might have open. I can also share my entire screen. So if I'm demonstrating how to do something and I need to go between multiple apps in my demonstration, I could do that by sharing my entire screen. I also have the option to share with audio, and that would be the audio that plays from my computer. The next icon opens the chat, and clicking the chat icon is how I will get to the chat for the duration of that meeting. Chat is just another way to communicate during the meeting, especially if you are participating in a presentation or a webinar. The presenter may prefer that you use the chat to make comments or ask questions, and they would tell you that at the beginning of the meeting. They might also ask you to mute your mic unless you're speaking, and this is because microphones on computers and other devices are pretty sensitive, and they can pick up even small noises. So just moving in your chair or flipping through papers, those sounds can be picked up by the mic and distract other participants. If you're in a meeting that is more conversational or involving everyone in the discussion, you probably in that case want to keep your mic on to participate throughout the meeting. The next icon is to turn on live captions. These captions are auto-generated, so they probably will not be 100% correct. But if you do need captions for any reason, they are available here. And these captions only show up on your screen. They don't show up for other attendees if you turn them on for yourself. The next icon is whiteboards. And this is a feature that can be used for brainstorming or making notes for attendees to see live on their screen. Hosts can also grant permissions to edit the whiteboard, so then attendees would be able to work collaboratively on a project or document. And it can also be used as a visual aid for a presentation. The next icon, the smiley face, is our reactions icon. Reactions are emojis that you can use to visually respond to what is being said. And this icon will show up on everyone's screen. You can also raise your hand from this icon. Raising your hand is also a visual way to communicate during the meeting. It lets the presenter or whoever's speaking know that you have a comment or question without you having to interrupt them. So everyone can see that your hand is raised, and the speakers or the host of the meeting should acknowledge you and either let you speak or ask you to type your comment or question in chat, or they'll let you know that they're going to come back to you when they finish their thought or whatever the case may be. And then once you've spoken, you can click the icon again to lower that raised hand. The next icon is for the settings menu, and options for organizing your window as well as your audio and video settings are available here. Then there is a More icon. The More icon has the option to stop incoming video. And then the last button on the right side of this menu is the red End button. And this is what you'll use at the end of a meeting to leave the meeting. Directly above the End button, in the upper right corner of the window, there is a View icon. And clicking this allows you to change the view from highlighting the person that is speaking to a gallery view so that you can see more or all of the people in the meeting. You can also hide the little thumbnail of yourself if it's taking up space, or if you just don't want it on the screen. You can do that from here as well. You can also switch to full screen mode from here. When you're ready to leave the meeting, click the End button. If you are hosting the meeting, you also will have the option to end the meeting for everyone. So if you're the host and you just leave the meeting, other attendees may remain in the meeting, but if you end the meeting for everyone, it's going to close the meeting window for everyone. So we are going to leave the meeting. We do also have the option to start a meeting immediately by clicking the Host option in the upper right corner. When I click Host, I have options to start a meeting with video off, with video on, or sharing my screen only. Video on is probably the most typical of the three options, but you may need or want to use the others depending on the situation. Now that we've looked at these options for our video meetings, we're going to join a meeting so that we can see a couple of these features in action.
All right, I have Mary and Tracy here to help me demonstrate a couple things using Zoom. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to turn on live captions. So in the menu bar that is at the bottom of your screen, there is a show captions option, and you just click that once and it turns them on, and you can see them at the bottom of my screen. However, you won't be able to see them when we look at Mary's screen. And then there are options, if you choose the little caret, there are options to change the language if there is a different language happening in the meeting. And then if you want to turn off the captions, you would just click that button again. Now it says hide captions. And then to share your screen, you're going to, on the same menu bar, find that green button that says share screen. And we're going to click that. And you do have the option to share a internet browser page, a window, or the entire screen. We're going to share a window because I have many things open, as you can see, and we only want the presentation to show what we're trying to share. So I will click the correct window and then just click share. And I can see a tiny little thumbnail on my screen, but nothing else. But the participants, the other people, can see the presentation or the image that I'm sharing on their screen. And then when you are ready to stop sharing, there's that big red stop share button. So you'll just click that. And that is how you share your screen. So thank you, Tracy and Mary.
This has been an overview of how to use the Zoom video conferencing software. Thanks for joining. That's it for today's video. If you liked it, make sure you let us know by following our MCPL 360 page on Facebook and our MCPL MO channel on YouTube. We premiere new videos every Wednesday and Friday at 1 p.m. And if you missed the live event, you can always find all of our videos on YouTube on one of our many technology-related playlists on our YouTube channel. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you again next time.